Hello there, Michael Modigdev here, reporting on our Fund 8 project. We at Modigdev want to bridge between the dev community and the real-world using community for Cardano. I'm reporting on this project, which got funding in Fund 8 to do a needs assessment, to look at what people need to learn as they come into the Cardano environment. And this got funded, and as a result of this, I started developing material having to do with teaching people how to be community advisors. That is now called Proposal Assessor. And I'm reporting on that. A lot of material has been developed over the years. Mr. Corsino, Victor, was one of those people, and I really invite people to go look at all of these excellent material. The Catalyst School is the official source of information for proposal assessors, and people are still making really great stuff having to do with this whole process. I would be remiss if I didn't mention what's happening in the Discord area at Catalyst School. This is like yesterday or 2 days ago, and people are making really awesome resources that I invite everyone to check out. And there's a lot of work being done in ways of presenting this, and I'm presenting our way of presenting this. So this is a funded project, and we kind of took it in a different direction. We kind of have taken it in this competencies-based approach. I have background in competencies-based education and health sciences, and this seems like a good way to approach this. So we are actually developing curriculum. We're approaching it more along that way. So this document here is our essential tasks curriculum framework, which I'll show you in one minute. And we've also come up with a new rubric for assessing proposals, which is a brand new development, and I'd like to present that quickly here. All of this is still in development, it's still in evolution. We are inviting community involvement. That's as we promised in our proposal, and indeed we did get community involvement already for what I'm going to show you here, and we haven't finished. That is explained better in a previous video that I did here. If you go to Musings, this one here, this was a more complete summary of the work to that point. Today, I would like to present what we've come up with at this point. And if you want to get involved, please do. There are the channels you can get involved with, either mail or on Discord. Now, what does this thing look like? This is what we are proposing would be a good way for community advisors. I keep using that term, proposal assessors. The essential tasks, what a person really needs to know in order to function in that job. That's the idea. How to be a proposal assessor from the point of view of essential tasks. This is unofficial. Catalyst School has not endorsed this. Cardano has not endorsed this. No one has endorsed this. This is just our Fund 8 project. Okay, we have, however, used the official Proposal Assessor's Guide, which I'm calling the PAG. I'm calling that here in our curriculum, because how this works is that I've referenced in that Proposal Assessor's Guide page numbers where these various skills or competencies or things that you have to know how to do are referenced, are described. So I've used that as one of the sources. It's linked here. Maybe you've seen this, maybe you haven't. Looks like that. And this is updated for Fund 9. And then the other reference is this video, which was also quite recent, from March of 2022. I'm calling that the CS, the Catalyst School. And here you'll find timestamps for where this topic, for example, find funds calendar for key dates. That's referenced on that page. Now these references are still incomplete, I would say, because the idea of this proposal is that the community can help us fill in these gaps. And indeed, if people want to make tutorials on these very specific topics, for example, explaining the STAR system, someone could actually make a tutorial, which we will link here. And eventually in our model, we want people to be incentivized by getting royalties for those videos, 2 minutes. Also quickly mention that as far as the assessing per se goes, I, Michael Modig, am proposing a template, as my American friends call it, a kind of rubric, which looks something like this. And being a former English teacher and having sat and reviewed proposals, I've come up with this. There are questions, and I will be talking about this in a separate video. One of the key insights that came out of the feedback that we did so far, which was in a Google Doc coming out of the Telegram conversations, was the idea that the things to do actually are good to think of in terms of phases of the proposal assessing process, that there's an overall arc or a number of stages that people can think of it in. There's a stage of arriving, a stage of preparing, a stage of engaging, and a stage of assessing. And this seems like not a bad way to organize the whole process. We are continuing to evolve this. And this is part of our curriculum and community development that we are doing at Modigdev. There's quite a lot more that we can say. This is the same curriculum here. We posted also on our own website. These stages: arriving in Catalyst, preparing, reading the guide, getting yourself familiar with the goals, identifying conflicts, selecting the challenge of interest, reading proposals. That's all preparing. And there might be other tasks, and some of those maybe don't need to be there. We're inviting the community to tell us. Preparing, engaging down here, talking to people in idea scale, talking about proposals, meeting people in Telegram channel, all that stuff. And then finally getting down to the actual assessing. And as I mentioned, we are proposing a new assessment rubric. And I'll be happy to talk about that next time. I'd also like to acknowledge that this is not well representative of the things having to do with getting paid and things having to do with following the results, the whole voting process. I was not able to do the voting process because I have a Linux-based phone. I couldn't get the app. So I acknowledge that this actually is incomplete. And again, we are still inviting feedback. There's a Google form you can engage with and contact us. So thanks.